Keep out! This gate leads to the tomb of the shadow demons. Like a giant magpie, the dragon bird sits upon its hoard of stolen treasures. High above the trees, you will find a nest. Oh, those eggs are worth their weight in gold. The imps of the Hilltop Mausoleum grew tired of the Phantom's incessant practice sessions and hid his sheet music away. Like most impish plans, this one backfired. The Phantom continues to bang the keys, but sorely lacks improvisational skills. This formidable serpent was somehow lured into a tiny chest and trapped by men working for King Peregrine. Probably it must have been a magic chest, because really, this is one huge serpent to fit in such a small box. But anyhow, the king believed he had imprisoned the evil serpent of Gallowmere, when in fact it was kindly serpent Lord Cole Katura that he had unboxed. Katura is probably going to have a big hug for whoever sets him free, and an ever tighter one for their enemies. Winner of the Jolliest Witch in Gallowmere Award for the 4th consecutive year. Wartilda actually runs a successful potions business and makes cool cheddar from her pumpkin spice profiteering. The other witches are secretly jealous. Once part of the infamous cemetery Hill Coven, Imelda was ostracized by her sisters when she refused to stop using the communal cauldron to prepare her notoriously pungent lunchtime brews. She now resides in the enchanted earth where no one complains. Or at least if they do, she just turns them into a toad. And seriously, do not lick those toads. A proud and fair race, the fairies were rulers of the underground world until that fateful day when the Ant Queen invaded their turf. Honestly, we don't know why the ants have them imprisoned, but for some reason, fairy magic doesn't seem to work against ants. Seems odd to me, but hey, I don't make the rules. These guardian gargoyles aren't much for conversation, and don't ask to hear their singing voice, unless you're into rock and roll. Ba-doom-tsh. Have you ever had one of those days where you leave the house full of breezy purpose, only to realize that you've left something really important at home? Well, that's how these guys feel all the time. Back in King Peregrine's day, imps were often kept as household servants. Sadly, those were cruel times, and many imps were treated very poorly by their masters. Really, it was no surprise when these cunning little creatures formed a secret alliance with Xerox. On the morning of the Battle of Gallowmere, every last one of King Peregrine's men awoke to find his house imp gone, and along with them every last undergarment in the kingdom. Never before had an army's charge been so devastatingly broken before battle had even begun. Isn't nature wonderful? This beautiful family of wolves has found a happy home in the graveyard. Back in their den, 6 cute, squirmy little pups are waiting for good old Mom and Pop to return with delicious, fresh meat. Well, perhaps graveyard meat isn't the most fresh, but at least it's easily found and safe. But let me tell you, elsewhere in Gallowmere, vengeful farmers have hunted these majestic beasts to the point of extinction. Oh, thank goodness this last happy little family is here, amid the peace and tranquility of the graveyard, where absolutely no harm can befall them. These straw men spin to win. They have teamed up with the crows to protect their cornfield home from strangers, whom they greet with sharp, spinning affection. Nothing comes easy for these poor farmers. As Gallomere's population declines, so does the demand for their crops. It's no wonder they hide in haystacks. Show them some sympathy and let them stab you a couple of times, eh? Industrious thieving imps built these powerful machines to steal crops from the farmers. Personally, I think they do better mass-producing these things and selling them to the farmers, but hey, thieves gotta thieve. These dreaded cornstalkers are utterly silent, totally invisible, and 100% deadly. They're also just about the cheapest solution a time-strapped video game developer could ever conceive to stop the player going where they're not wanted. Rejoice. They're vampire bats. Actually, they're just bats, but they bite. That's sort of vampire-y. These once good-natured pumpkins fell victim to the Pumpkin King's toxic influence. They're still tasty, if you can convince them not to murder you. But perhaps you should think about things from their perspective. Well, how would you feel if someone wanted to scoop out your brains and carve a big, goofy smile across your face? Fresh off the vine, these baby boomers are in too much of a hurry to grow up. They can't wait to spread their pumpkin seed. Hypnotized citizens of a once thriving town. They'll happily invite you in for tea, but if they ask to borrow a shovel, you should probably decline. Xerox Mechanical Goon Squad, developed deep in the City of Madness, although manufactured in China, of course. That coal in their stomach fuels them, whilst also cooking up a mean brisket. Is this really what the ancient dragons evolved into? Their dreadful ancestors would be ashamed. Don't lick their backs. That's a good way to end up in the loony bin. No, really, just don't. Poisonous pollen protects these plants from predators. Just to be safe, they fire it at everything. Can never be too careful these days. Fascinating creatures, ants. Did you know they're as old as the dinosaurs? That they talk using chemicals? Or that they share a hive mind? And contrary to popular belief, they actually have no interest whatsoever in your pants. I always thought it was a bad idea when they put a demon on their stained glass window. Isn't that a little odd for a holy place? I said. What if a passing sorcerer brings it to life using arcane magic? I said. But did they listen? Yes, he might have a glass jaw, but if you think shattering his dark heart is going to be easy, oh, you'd better think again. Humanity's last line of defense against the restless undead. They prevent bony beings from escaping to the land of the living. Man's best friend, but not Dan's best friend. A terrifying reminder of the perils of competitive vegetable growing, this sinister squash has become a terrible influence on his once peaceful pumpkin. Xerox magic has created the ultimate superfood. This is one ghoulish gourd that's simply bustin' for a dustin'. She's not just a set of legs. There's a whole devoted mother bird up there. And no one treasures her eggs more than this bird mama. They may someday hatch into beautiful baby birds, or maybe just into beautiful bags of gold, or bags of golden babies. Who knows? Although accustomed to letting her soldiers do all the fighting, this is one tough bug lady. She's an acid-spitting queen who will fight to her last gasp to defend the brood of insect infants incubating inside her egg sac. Oh, if only there was an airlock you could flush her out of.
Shall enter. The shadow demons are entombed within, separated from the world of goodness and light until the earth cracks open. No one, not even the Dark Lord Zarek, can release them without the shadow artifact. Leave now, or share their doom.
Sir Dan, you must take the Shadow Demon Talisman. It is an unholy relic, but it may allow you to progress through Shadow Demon territory.
What have you done? Once again, the shadow demons are wreaking havoc across the land, and it's all thanks to you. the single most destructive and wretched creatures in the history of the world, and you've given them an early parole. They will be heading for the ruins of King Peregrine's castle. Gallowmere is doomed. What have you...
Herr Fortescue, you are back on the battlefield, yeah? This is good. People say to me, Sturmgard, what do you think of this sword or that axe? But I say to them, Nein! Modern warfare is a question of science, the science of shields. I think maybe you should take my shield, yeah? It is magic, Herr Fortescue. Some say it is better to have a magic sword than a magic shield, but I say to you that this is rubbish! So long as you use it properly, the shield will make you invincible!
Some of the most evil, murderous critters ever to blight the land. Thankfully, they were locked away in a hermetically sealed vault by a great hero hundreds of years ago. Don't worry, we're safe. Only a complete fool would ever set them free. Oh, please tell me you didn't. Everything is a competition for these demon sisters. When not disemboweling intruders, they enjoy a good game of chess. We'll never know who is better. One of them always flips the table. This is the Garden of Zerok. Nothing here is as it first seems. To leave this maze, you must first seek out the one called Jack of the Green.
Greetings, Sir Fortescue. My name is Jack of the Green. I am the master of riddles, and this maze is my domain. You are free to leave, but only once you've answered 4 riddles. Puzzles so fiendishly difficult, so perplexingly complex, that no man has ever solved them. Ha, ha, ha. Now, try my first riddle. At night they come without being fetched. By day they are lost without being stolen. Well done, Sir Rabbit. But my star riddle was but a trifle. I always like to begin with an easy one. Return hither. You will not find my next conundrum so simple. I live for laughter. I live for the crowd. Without it, I am nothing.
Show the clown you care. by surrounding him with smiles.
Yes, it was a clown. Very clever, I'm sure. Return in haste, Sir Knight, for I wish to see the despair on your face when you hear my next cryptic puzzler. Face like a tree, skin like the sea, a great beast I be, yet vermin frighten me. Did you spot my bluff? I pretended that riddle was hard, but in truth it was obviously an elephant. This time, however, I almost pity you. The answer to my next vexing enigma has eluded the finest minds of a whole generation. I tolerate the moon and stars. I can't abide the sun. Banish me with torchlight and you'll see me turn and run. It took me ages to come up with that darkness one. Very well. Outrageous as it seems, my vast intellect has been matched by your badly decomposed brain. Return at once and I shall give you your prize. You think you're so clever, don't you? Here you are, Sir Clever Clogs. I grant you free passage through my maze. Find your own way out.
Oh, Danielle. I've got something here I can give you, but I've no idea what it is. Do you fancy a little gamble, like?
Cold and dark and reeking of death. We remembers an ancient battle fought here between the forces of good and the dark armies of Zarok. Now the marshes are full of the restless dead.
Weapons are useless against the heavy armor of the knights. Don't let them shove you in the swamp. That mud will never come out.
Greetings, stranger. I am the boatman. It is I who ferry lost souls on their final journey to the land of the dead. But hold, have we not met before? Sir Daniel Fortescue, not you too. Thanks to Zarok's mechanism up to me eye sockets and lost souls who've woken from the eternal sleep. Business hasn't been this brisk since before they invented sanitation. Look, if you help me to gather up a boatload of 8 lost souls and bring them here, I'll drop you off at the sunken town of Melamede. How's that sound? How gracious of you. Makes a change to meet a polite young skeleton after dealing with those filthy zombie types. Hop aboard.
Courses for this guy. I bet money you be back pushing all daisies by now. Eh, I have something here for you. You like it very much? You want?
Greetings, Sir Fortescue. My name is Jack of the Green. I am the master of riddles, and this maze is my domain. You are free to leave, but only one... Well done, Sir Knight. But my star riddle was but a trifle. I always like to begin with an easy one. Return hither. You will not find my next conundrum so simple. I live for laughter. Yes, it was a clown. Very clever, I'm sure. Return in haste, Sir Knight, for I wish to see the despair on your face when you hear my next cryptic puzzler. Face like a tree, skin like the sea, a great beast I be. Did you spot my bluff? I pretended that riddle was hard, but in truth it was obviously an elephant. This time, however, I almost pity you. The answer to my next vexing enigma has eluded the finest minds of a whole generation. Come to me. I tolerate them. It took me ages to come up with that darkness one. Very well. Outrageous as it seems, my vast intellect has been matched by your badly decomposed brain. Return at once and I shall give you your prize. You think you're so clever, don't you? Here you are, Sir Clever Clogs. I grant you free passage through my maze. Find your own way out.
Oi. 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 Oi.